What is going on, guys? This is me, Rodent Fan 1956, coming at you guys with, I believe, episode 3 of the Godzilla Gameathon series. So, a few notes I want to say before we start. Number one, I want to apologize for the inactivity on my channel. My last video was uploaded during my break, so I had a week break from school, and when I got back, I honestly forgot to upload. I've been busy with schoolwork, but we are back. We are with my series I've been enjoying. I've been really loving doing this series, guys. I really appreciate all the support. This is a really fun series. Again, this is a series I revived, and I think this series is a lot better than my original attempt. Um, so again, I want to say thank you for the support. The other note is for this era of Godzilla games. For like this episode, we were originally going to include a game called Godzilla Trading Battle. There's a few issues with the game. One, the game was all in Japanese, and it's kind of a weird game, honestly. I watched footage of it, and I just couldn't find a PlayStation 1 emulator to use for the game. So we're just gonna skip out on that game because I'm not a fan of using other people's footage. So yeah, sorry, we're not going to be reviewing Godzilla Training Battle. It's just in Japanese, and I don't really feel like trying to figure that game out, and nor can I find the emulator for it. So those are the two notes I wanted to say right to my channel. The third note, we are joined with a new guest today, no longer Vulture. We have Dr. Noodles, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Uh, hey, I'm Dr. Noodles. I usually just stream games on my YouTube, but I'm gonna be putting out more videos. And in relation to Godzilla Gameathon, I'm thinking of starting like a game review channel on my channel of like old PlayStation games.
Alright. So yeah, fun fact, he was actually, when I did this series originally, like 3 years ago, he was the person who actually did this series with me. So, kind of an OG throwback because me and him came out with the idea for this series a while ago. So, kind of a throwback. So, yeah, we're gonna get on to the first game. All right, so the first game we have really isn't that much of a game. It's called Godzilla Movie Studio Tour. So this game is kind of a weird game. I had a few issues running this game on my computer because it is a Windows 95 game. So from the footage you'll see, I had a lot of issues with the game. My game was crashing a lot, so I had to keep opening up my task manager and closing it. Second of all, it could not enter full screen because I didn't run a virtual machine, which just know for I should know that for future reference now. But hopefully I won't have to play another Windows 95 game. Anyways, so the gist of this game is really simple. Again, I don't even know if I can really call it a game. You just basically are in like this weird little car thing going around this like Godzilla style park. And the idea of the park is that you end up creating your own movie and you watch it in the theater. You end up creating your title, your poster, and then you end up getting clips for the movie, which is just using other Godzilla footage. Now, the problem I have with this game is what you'll see from this footage is I could not add clips to my movie, and every time I tried to, I kept trying to add it. Again, that's when my game crashed. So, I don't know if I should have ran this on a virtual machine, would have ran better. I'm thinking that probably would have been better for me if I ran it on a virtual machine. Maybe the game would have run properly, or if I was just misunderstanding what I was supposed to do. But I had a lot of issues with this game, and it just doesn't really feel like that much of a video game. It's just kind of just a little cool idea, I guess. I mean, you could also print out the posters, which I thought was okay, but other than that, there's really not a lot to say about this game. Really, just simple idea. If I had to give it a rating, probably 4 out of 10 because I kept crashing and I couldn't achieve the goal of the game due to the game constantly crashing. But I want to hear your opinion on this game.
Yeah, I feel the same way about a lot of it. Like, maybe it would have run better on the virtual machine and stuff, but we can't say that for sure. But it's pretty much not a game. It's like it is a cool idea, like making a movie and stuff. But it would have been cooler if like you actually moved around and had like a character that you could move and set up cameras and stuff, other than what it is. But of course, it's an old game, so we couldn't really. It wouldn't be that good if they did that anyways. So it's pretty much just Godzilla like trailers and footage from the old movies that you can look at and like throw together.
Yeah, so there really just not much to say. Overall, disappointing, boring ass game. So yeah.
Pretty much.
So the next game we have is one that is kind of interesting. So we have Godzilla Generations on the Sega Dreamcast. So this game was a Dreamcast launch title in Japan. Fun fact, I think this is the only Godzilla game launch title, so another fun fact for the day. So this game, if you guys have ever played Godzilla on PlayStation 4, this is basically a worse version of that game. The idea of this game is you just play as Godzilla or Mechagodzilla. There's also other Godzillas you can unlock as well. I also saw that you can unlock Godzilla's son, which is weird. But basically, you just go around destroying the city. That's pretty much it. And I have a lot of issues with this game. One, there are no boss fights in this game. In Godzilla PlayStation 4, there are boss fights, which kind of adds some variety to the game. Even that game is considered highly repetitive. The controls of this game are very clunky. You move at an incredibly slow pace. There's no running feature. The camera angle just keeps changing by itself for some reason. Like, I have no control over what I'm doing with this camera angle. It's just randomly changing. And the maps are just so big, but there's just no obstacles. I mean, yeah, you'll have some tanks shoot at you. You'll have some jets try to attack you, but they really don't do any damage. So you're really just free roaming around destroying buildings, which doesn't sound terrible, but trust me, after playing 2 to 3 levels of this game, I can tell you this game gets boring really fast. Again, the reason I'm able to enjoy the Godzilla PlayStation 4 game is at least there's boss fights. There's a running button at least. Like the game is definitely repetitive, Godzilla PlayStation 4, and that game can also be slow paced, but the difference with that game is there's more to do. There's also generators as well, which are the main target. And on Godzilla PlayStation 4, there's a disaster level which raises as you do more damage. In this game, you're just free to roam and do whatever. There's some enemies, but they don't affect you whatsoever. So I found this game to be incredibly repetitive. I see a lot of Godzilla fans like it because it sounds cool on paper. I mean, look, if this was a mobile game, I think I'd enjoy it a lot more because I'd have less expectations. And maybe I shouldn't have high expectations for a Dreamcast game, but overall, especially when I compare it to the sequel, like this game is a huge disappointment for a launch title. Just incredibly repetitive and boring game. Yeah, there's a cool cast of characters. The music's nice. I mean, the music's from the movies, which I kind of like. But other than that, there's really just overall disappointing, repetitive ass gameplay. I mean, I think by 1998 we'd move on from the repetitive Godzilla games that we were playing in previous episodes. But it is clear they have not learned their lesson yet. So I'm kind of curious what you have to say.
Yeah. When I played it was very repetitive, and there isn't like an objective. They just, like you said, they just send you out and have you do whatever. You're just free to do whatever, and it for like maybe 5 minutes, it's fun just going around destroying the buildings and well, trying to destroy the buildings. That's a note for a minute. And going after the enemies. But after that, like, I don't want to deal with the terrible controls because it's difficult to move around because the camera angle just constantly like snaps around and makes you spin in circles when you don't want to. And it's a very like not well put together game. It's not exactly it's not a good game.
Yeah, like
uh, and the attacks, trying to use the attacks was very confusing because you could aim when you use the attack, but you also couldn't, which was weird. Yeah, it's a bad game.
yeah, I just
That is my review.
I'd have to agree with everything you said. The camera angle's bad, and well, I understand what you mean by aiming. Like you can kind of aim, but the aiming's just so shit because of the clunky controls. I
Yeah,
mean, and here's the thing, I was thinking about giving this game a break because the Dreamcast had like one thumbstick, but I just don't think, I feel like when we're at working with games that had 3D technology, I mean, look, this game was 2 years removed from Halo 1. I mean, there had to be some standards back then, so I don't want to keep giving games breaks because they're old. I mean, look, this game is only removed 2 to 3 years away from Halo 1, and Halo 1 is a beautiful game that's still played even to this day on the Master Chief Collection. Now, again, the company's not as big as Microsoft, so they're not working with as big of a budget. But still, we don't. There's no excuse for a game to be this repetitive, constantly changing camera angles. It's just a horrible, slow experience, and it's surprising too because in the sequel is so damn good compared to this game. So I'd give this game probably like a 2.5 out of 10. Oh, just terrible. The only thing that's saving it is I like
Really.
the effects and the music. That's really it. Other than that, awful game.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like the music and stuff like that, but other than that, not much going for the game.
What would you give it out of 10?
Probably also like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, give me Godzilla PlayStation 4 any day over this game.
On Yeah, that swayed my opinion on the worst Godzilla game.
All right, let's go to the next game now. All right, so the third game we are finally getting into a good game. Holy shit, all these games have been bad so far. I mean, most of the series I played a lot of bad games, but the first ever good positive review, I feel like. So, Godzilla Generations Maximum Impact, like I said, is a sequel to Godzilla Generations, but it seems they learned from their lesson that they had made a completely dogshit game and actually made a very fun and playable game. So the goal of Godzilla Generations Maximum Impact is pretty fun. It's like this arcadey type game where basically you control Godzilla's laser and where you certain enemies while there's multiple enemies coming at you. And now you may say that sounds repetitive, but it's fun as shit. You basically go through the city destroying buildings, but that's not the only focus. You have multiple enemies attacking you at once, multiple helicopters, tanks on the ground, all shooting at you, and you have to actually have good aim. So this game does require some sort of skill. I found it a little hard to aim with the D-pad when I first tried playing it, but other than that, the controls are not bad at all. I mean, it's very easy to. I mean, again, I struggled at first with aiming, but you get used to the aiming pretty quick. You also get points, and the points matter because the more points you get at the end of each stage, you end up getting more lives toward the end, and lives are very important, obviously, when you get into boss fights. And that's probably the thing that separates this game from Godzilla Generations because this game has multiple boss fights. So you usually how this game works is you'll go through a city of going through helicopters and tanks and going through the city and you'll have one boss fight. And if you guys know what the Heisei series of Godzilla movies is, which is like the 90s era, you basically fight every god monster from there. So you fight Biolante, Mothra, Mechagodzilla, not Biolante again, Space Godzilla, and you end off with Destroya as the final boss. Now, I could not get to Destroya because I was actually live streaming with Devin, who we're talking with right now, and he could tell y'all how he fucked up the stream when he reviews the game. But Destroya is very difficult. When I did play against him, I could not beat him. Overall, this was a very fun experience of a game. I definitely give this game probably 7.5, 8 out of 10. Great gameplay. The game is very smooth. It's a little hard to aim at first, but other than that, I really don't have a lot of complaints. It's slightly repetitive, yes, but it's very fun. The levels go by quick, and the boss fights are just well designed. I really like the boss fights. No boss is particularly broken, and just great game overall. I give them credit.
Any of you that watch the stream, yo, will know this. For one, yeah, he went to the bathroom and decided that on one of the hardest levels he had gotten to so far was the perfect time to set me up to play. And I didn't know how to play, so I basically just I didn't even know how to shoot. I just stood there and died, and he was quite angry with me. But once I started to learn how to play and stuff, I was having a lot of fun with it, even learning how to play. And it is repetitive in a way, but it's like a fun kind of repetitive. Like I could just play that game for hours and have fun with it, just messing around. The boss fights are pretty fun. Like I had to actually learn the first boss, like taking out the tentacles before they completely destroy you. Because if you don't, you die. But it was a pretty fun game. I would give it an 8 out of 10 as well, just because I had a lot of fun. Like I was messing around playing it.
So yeah. Um, overall, guys, I'd have to agree. This game is an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Great. I have to give the company credit after making such a shit, poorly designed game in Godzilla Generations to come back and make a game this good is impressive. I definitely play this game more in my free time. Maybe I'll do another live stream of it, honestly, because I didn't get to play through the whole thing. If y'all want to see that, comment down below. I'd love to do another live stream of this game. This game is actually really fun. So let's move on to the final two games, which are pieces of shit. So the final two games we have are fairly similar shit god awful experience video games. So basically I'll start off with Godzilla the series. A awful Game Boy game. So the gist of this game is pretty simple. You basically can't move and all you can do is you just have two attacks. You have your fireball attack and your tail attack, and you just aim at either the ground troops or the helicopters. That's pretty much it. You just destroy the incoming tanks and helicopters with one of two attacks. This game might be the worst game ever. You can't move on your own. You are just walking. You were like lightly jogging, I guess you could say. Things keep hitting at you, and they just keep coming over and over at you. You can't really like do anything. I feel like I can't not get hit. Like you can't cancel their attacks or anything. It's just god awful. The game looks terrible. Like the graphics themselves look terrible. I mean, I played a decent amount of Game Boy games, and I can tell you right now, Game Boy games should not look this bad. Um, really, this might be the worst Godzilla video game I've ever played personally. This game and its sequel is just so unplayable and broken, and it's just like bad repetitive. Like Godzilla Generations X Impact is good repetitive. This is just bad repetitive. I mean, I can't play this game for more than 2 minutes. I mean, that's the amount of footage I have recorded for this game. Obviously, I'll talk for more than 2 minutes on it, but I can't. There's just nothing else to add on to this game. This game is just hot ass. So, I'll, I want to hear what you have to say because I think this might be the worst video game I've ever fucking played.
Yeah, so I didn't play obviously, but I got bored like from just a minute of the 2 minutes of footage. Like after I saw what the gameplay was and watched it for a second, I immediately was like, "This is a terrible game. It sucks. It's fucking bad." And like you said, it shouldn't look as bad as it does. Like it's a GameCube game, but GameCube games don't look that bad. And for the series, like the fact that you can't move on your own and you only have two attacks, that sucks on its own. But the fact that you can almost never avoid damage from what I see. Like even if you hit them before they get to you, somehow they will always get an attack on you. So it's probably most of the time going to be really short playing the game, which isn't a bad thing since it's so bad. Both of them, series and Monster Wars.
Yeah, we'll talk about Monster Wars next.
And yeah, yeah, that's basically all I have to say about the series.
So I'm looking at a 1 out of 10 straight up.
Same. Maybe not even a 1 out of 10, honestly. Just, it's that bad.
It just doesn't even deserve a rating.
Exactly.
I'd have to agree. So let's move on to the next one. The final game to wrap up the 90s era of Godzilla gaming. Godzilla the series Monster Wars. So if you're wondering where the Monster Wars titles comes from, if you guys never watched the Godzilla the series cartoon, which I actually highly recommend, it's one of my favorite cartoons. Um, this is basically they made this like little mini series in there called Monster Wars. I'm not gonna just spoil it too much. Just know basically it's about Godzilla fighting a ton of monsters. So pretty much as you can see from the gameplay, it's pretty much the same fucking game except there are three new features that I can tell. Well, four. One, you can move on your own. So if you want to stop and aim better, you can do that. Which wow, very very innovative stuff right here. You know, I mean, I think the developers are Crayfish or something. This company's probably bankrupt, and I would not be surprised. I don't know why it wouldn't. So yeah, very very innovative stuff. They added a move button. The second thing is you have a cursor, so you can better aim your fireball attack, which is kind of cool and obviously helpful because as y'all saw from the last footage, it's just really weird the aiming and just funky. So it's kind of cool that they added a cursor, I guess. The third thing is, I guess there's like power ups. I mean, you can like shoot at the health and you gain more health. And there's like another power which I have no clue what it does because this game doesn't tell you shit. It's one of those games where you just the second you load it up, you just press a new game and they tell you a bit of background story and they just plop you into the games. I don't know what the other power up does honestly, and it probably doesn't matter because I kept gaining it and nothing changed about the gameplay. The only other thing I noticed is in the other game your health regenerates by itself. This one you get longer health, but you have to get health pickups, which kind of cool, I guess. I really don't know. Yeah, as y'all can tell, I'm really not optimistic about this game because it's literally the same shit. I don't understand how a company can get away with releasing the same video game. I think these games came out a year apart, and the fact that a company got away with releasing the same game 2 years in a row, except for adding four minor features, it's just embarrassing. Now, I think I heard this game has boss fights, but who really gives a fuck, man? I don't have the patience to play this shitty game for that long to get into the boss fights. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5 because they tried improving, but the fact that they kept the same concept really shows that they didn't learn shit. But I'll give them a 1.5. They at least tried to make some changes. So I want to hear what you have to say.
Uh, yeah. I mean, like you said, I'm also I wasn't very optimistic watching the footage for this game because I immediately saw it was the same as the series with minor changes. Like the even it adding the new features, it didn't make it like any better of a game in my opinion. It still looked just as boring, and all the like other stuff like the power-ups and stuff, that was news to me because watching the footage, the graphics were so bad and like I was so like uninterested that I didn't really notice what any of it was. So I mean, I don't know. This I feel like this is in the caliber of game that you would play when you're really bored in class at school. That's what I the vibe I get from it,
Honestly,
which isn't good.
I would rather pay attention in class, I think, than play Godzilla the series.
Yeah, you're right.
So, what would you give it out of 10?
I mean, same as the series, I wouldn't really give it a rating. It's just really bad.
Okay, so nothing.
Like, I get that they were trying, but I wouldn't really give it a better rating, even if they tried.
No, I agree. Alright, so let's move on to our wrap up. Alright, so guys, we reviewed, honestly, probably some of the worst Godzilla games I've ever fucking played. Considering the fact they were wrapping up the 90s, I really thought that they'd do a better job. Overall, looking at it, Godzilla Movie Studio Tour, not really a video game even. Um, Godzilla Generations, that series. So we saw two, like, sort of like game series in a way. Godzilla Generations and the Godzilla the series. Funny enough. Overall, Godzilla Generations Maximum Impact is a great game. It's the only respectable video game. It's a good game in its own right, but it's looks like a god tier game compared to these other trash games. What we realize is developers even coming to approaching the year 2000 were lazy as fuck. I mean, I really thought when we get out of the SNES and the NES era of gaming that developers are actually trying. They wouldn't release the same video game 2 years in a row. I thought there were some standards, but evidently from the footage, there are not many standards. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Link to Doctor News 11, Twitch, and YouTube in the description. Also, I don't know if you guys are interested. I'm running a Discord server, and I've kind of hate to say I've been a little distracted growing my Discord server. If you guys would be interested in joining a gaming Discord server that I am in, and you guys would ever talk to me or just see what else I do outside of YouTube, I'll leave the link of that in the description as well to that. I doubt anybody will join, but it's worth a shot. So that's my closing thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Anything else you want to say?
Uh, Not really. If you guys want to check out my YouTube or Twitch, I'm gonna try to be more active on there. And on his Discord server, I'm there. So if anybody joins, and I also doubt anybody would, but if anybody joins, I'll be there too.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and have a good day. Yeah, fuck you, editor!